for shows tonight, oh boy, oh boy. La-dum, da-dum, la-dum, da-dum. La-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum. Da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum. Morning, Daddy. Shark WeCap, episode 6? Wait. Oh my god, yeah, episode 6. Oh my god, this is the 6th one? Why, it only feels like the 20th. I have bang predation of my fucking face. I'm gonna eat it. First show of the night was Alien Sharks, First Contact. Alien Sharks is kind of the like, and the rest of Shark Week. They're like, all week they're like, great white, bull sharks, tiger sharks, and the rest. Like, this is and the rest. So this is all the little funky ones. Note taking on this was overwhelming because they went Japan, Alaska, Hawaii, and all different people. I couldn't keep anybody straight. I barely got names down. I certainly couldn't keep track of all the sharks. So in Japan, the main goal was to find a frilled shark, which have like the teeth that look kind of like Velcro, like their whole mouth is Velcro. Thank God frilled sharks can't watch TV, because this was some rude descriptions. They're like, it's a bad swimmer. It has a weak bite. Its mouth is crazy looking, and it's the weirdest of all the sharks. The frilled shark's probably just at home crying, like, I bet they liked me. Friends don't talk about friends that way. But in the process, they find every other possible weird shark that you could want. We had the best fashion moment of Shark Week, which is that one of the guys in Japan is wearing like hot pink waiter like overalls. Amazing. God, I have so many mosquito bites. Why are people afraid of sharks? There are mosquitoes. Do you know about those? They're a fucking nightmare. In Japan, they find a rough-nosed dogfish that has like, gives like fear birth when they catch it. But it's very cool. You get to see all the little babies, and they have little like sacks attached to them, and they're little newborn sharks, and its eyes are the size of its body. But it's definitely having like a traumatic moment where it's like, oh my God, my water broke. Meanwhile, in Alaska, they're looking for a sleeper shark, which apparently they've like turned up with like moose bones in their bodies, and like dogs and people. They're like easily 20 feet long, and apparently might be where like sea monster legends come from. So like maybe a sleeper shark is the Loch Ness monster. I can tell you right now, sleeper shark's not the Loch Ness monster. I'm the Loch Ness monster. All these poor sleeper sharks have like fucking copepods just burrowing into their eyes. Something about eye integrity being disrupted is unpleasant in a really visceral way. So we got to see cookie cutter sharks in this episode, which if you've been keeping up with my whole week here, you know we've had a lot of chat about them in my interviews with people from Shark Week. After seeing what their bites look like, Vicky, you little psycho, those are your favorite? They're terrible. I knew I liked you, you little weirdo. They had a guy interviewed who got attacked by a cookie cutter shark once, and in my mind it was a much smaller hole, because they go boop, and they like spin around and like take a little chunk. This was like this guy's whole abdomen. Like it almost got his wiener. It was so close. By the way, they're in Hawaii now. I told you, it's really hard to keep up. Wait, so okay, they were, okay, wait, I'm losing track, because they moved around so much. But okay, so the sleeper shark, what happened with him, they found, it seemed like he's more of a scavenger, so they're like, oh, he's not eating full moose, he's just going, oh my God, who left this moose out? And like eating it. Okay, so not as terrifying as he seems, but still nightmare eyes. Then in Japan, they were looking for the frilled shark. They didn't have any luck finding a live one, so they looked at a dead one. It was very sad, but they got to really look at its creepy little mouth. So, but they got to see one. Okay, so check. Then we're in Hawaii with the guys that were looking for the sleeper shark before, but now they're in Hawaii and they're looking for the cookie cutter shark. Okay, I think I'm on track. Joe Romero showed up in Hawaii because he knows how to go on the good trips. Oh, apparently the frilled sharks, like, because their teeth are like Velcro-y, they can like grab onto something and never let go. Never. Okay, but back up in Hawaii, they're like in the water and a squid just like inked all over the place, which is fun. They put a whole fresh tuna in the water to try to find a cookie cutter. When they pulled it back up, it had a little drilled hole out of it. So in the end, they found out every single weird shark that's ever existed in 1 hour. Second show of the night was the lair of the great white shark. Oh, please come in. Let me open my beaded curtain. To the left, you'll find my spinning water bed, and to the right, a mini bar fully stocked for your pleasure. There's a lot happening up top. It's very stressful. Give me context. Whew. 3 weeks later, we're getting context. So Dr. Craig O'Connell has gone to Australia, and he's with a guy, an abalone diver whose friend died in a shark attack. And then a bunch of other dudes. There's just a lot of new people tonight, which is so fun. But like, I don't know anybody's name. My Shark Week dance card is full. I can't keep track of any new men's names. All right, so they're there to try to see if it's the like landscape of the sea near there that's making the attacks more deadly, because there's a lot of like cave systems. So maybe the great whites are able to really sneak up, and that's why they are winding up being more deadly. So Dr. Craig O'Connell and his friends get in a cage, and it's got like a straight up front door. It's not like when you go in, like they put it in the water and then they're like, all right, I'm going in the cage now. Like it has a regular door, but it turns out that they needed the regular door because they're going down to the bottom and they're gonna like put a camera out, so they have to be able to like walk out of the cage. Somebody said over their intercom thing, like, I think I saw a shark swim by. And I'm like, well, I hope so, guys. Otherwise, what are we doing here?
They got to see predation of a baby. A little baby great white.
It's still the biggest baby on earth, but still a baby. They called one of the sharks massive and super curious, which, fun fact, is what it said on all my 5th grade report cards about me. So they're dropping the cage, they're trying to hit a sandy target so that they can put out their camera, and they missed by a lot. Mark, the man whose friend died, is like, well, we gotta get this camera in place. So he gets out of the cage and just like takes his fins off and picks it up and walks it, and everybody's like, oh, holy shit, man. So like they get it in place, but not until someone had to completely Hulk out. Side note, I need Dr. Craig O'Connell's outdoor skincare regime, because he looks as pale as I am, and he never even looks a little burnt. He's not freckly, nothing. Like, what sunscreen are you using, man? Oh my God. Other than that baby whose butt's out for copper tone, I don't know that there are sunscreen models, but if there was gonna be one, I'd vote for Dr. Craig O'Connell. Okay, so now we're night diving because we don't like when I sleep. So the cage was attached by a rope, and the sharks in the water were fucking with the rope a little bit. And whatever was happening, they came up and the rope was like threadbare. And if it had broken, it would have just fallen to the bottom of the ocean. So then by the light of day, these gentlemen all have a brilliant idea, which is, why don't we dress up like seaweed? So they're all wearing the silliest sea suits on Earth. They're like, what are those things called? Aren't they called ghillie suits on land? Like, they're just like covered in stuff. So they're disguised. They're pretending to be the surroundings. They have rebreathers so they won't bubble. And the sharks don't seem to notice them. Success. Now that they're invisible, they can go hide in caves and try to see if the sharks are using them to sneak up on prey. They use a stingray, like decoy camera, sitch, and they drag it when they know that there's a shark around. The sharks went for the decoy. They got the footage, and they got the measurements. They got all the things they needed. They get to wear goofy suits. They did it. Another successful costume party in the books. 3rd episode of the night was Tiger Shark King. While not technically related to the Tiger King series with Joe Exotic, if you guys wanted to follow up, or you need it to be like super obvious that there's a woman that feeds her ex-husband to some tiger sharks, I'm available. Let me be your Carol. I'll marry somebody just to feed them to a shark. Oh, come on, for all you guys know, I already do that. So this show's in the Bahamas, where the tiger sharks hang out, and they've got Dr. Austin Gallagher and Jimmy Partington and Christine De Silva. There have been a lot more women than usual on Shark Week this year, and I'm very happy about it. Dr. Austin Gallagher has a video that comes back from one of his like fin cams where a tiger shark is like swimming in a trench and something massive bumps it and hits it into the wall of the trench, and they're like, what could do that? What would bump a tiger shark like that? Cannibals? just big boys, well, could do it. This kind of behavior is exactly why I don't like going to clubs. Beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, boop. Hi, Jimmy. Time to be fed to sharks. So in this episode, the main location that they're in is an area called the tongue of the ocean. I am not mature enough for the tongue of the ocean. And they said the whole name every time. It doesn't have like a nickname or anything. The tongue of the ocean. The tongue de la mer. The heart of the ocean. It's overwhelming. Stop saying tongue of the ocean, I have the giggles. But before they check out the tongue, they're gonna go to Tiger Beach. So Jimmy built a Minotaur cage, which is like half cage, half just straight up bait box that he's in. Jimmy pronounces Minotaur much nicer than I do. He makes it British, it's pretty.
In California, we say Minotaur.
So Jimmy's down in the cage surrounded by lemon sharks and reef sharks. And then the voiceover explains that their teeth are actually all strong enough to get into the cage that Jimmy's in. Meanwhile, on the surface, everyone's just hanging out, having a casual conversation, throwing more fish in, while Jimmy's in like a snack cake. So the main goal with this is to find tigers, to try to see like what canyon in the tongue they're coming from. So they see a big ass 16-foot tiger shark and Jimmy's like, I know where it came from. Let's go! Dr. Austin Gallagher's glasses are back. Next part of the plan is to watch from every direction near the canyon that they think they're coming from. So Christine's on the boat watching the bait cams and Austin's in the sub and Jimmy is again being fed to sharks. Suddenly all the silkies disappear and they're like, uh-oh, shit. Something big is coming. Down on the deep sea camera, they say a huge tiger, and they're like, oh, this is the spot. Cut to Jimmy stuffing a squid full of meat to drop in the tongue. Guys, I am 5. Don't do this. How dare you? How dare you? Third phase of the plan. Okay, so Christine is she's watching she's got all her cameras set up with the deep sea baited camera. It's down there. Then we've got one sub with Austin, one sub with Jimmy. Jimmy's is gonna pull the meat squid, and Christine's gonna be the eyes and skies. Oh, they're going down to 600 feet, 700 feet, 800 feet, too deep. They gotta really get down in that tongue. Really get down in that tongue. And then they sat there for hours. A hammerhead swims by. Some bioluminescent weirdo things swim by. The tiger sharks are here. They can't quite see what happened, but something hit the bait and Jimmy's whole sub moves around and they're like, oh no, what was it? Let's review the tapes. So everybody comes back up to where Oxygen lives and they're looking at the tapes of what they got and they decide maybe what's going on in the tongue is mating. So it turns out the tongue of the ocean maybe was a sex place. I'll see myself out. I'm sick of me. I'm sick of me. God, I'm exhausting. None of you have to be me. I exhaust myself. The tongue of the ocean. I want you to draw me like one of your French girls, wearing this. Wearing only this. As a paying customer, I expect to get what I want. This is an exhausting place to live. It's weird up in here. Things get weird. So it's Friday night of Shark Week, which means there are 4 shows of the night because they assume that just because the day's different, I can stay up later. Untrue! The 4th episode is I Was Prey 2. Well, guess what? I was prey too. I fell asleep. I tried so hard, I fell asleep. I tried 4 hours. I'm so old. 4 hours? They've done I Was Prey before, and they're gonna do it again one last time this week. But it's 2 people that share their stories of surviving a shark attack. So we've got an Australian guy who's like really into Muay Thai fighting. Do I say that right? I can't say Mai Tai, that's a drink. Muay Thai? Mai Tai? Muay Thai. Yeah, sure. And he also goes spearfishing to meditate. I wish men could meditate without killing things, but whatever. Anyway, he loves the water, so he's spearfishing and he gets jumped. Cut to a guy from Hawaii who moved to an island to repair air conditioners in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. He said it's like between Brazil and Africa. Real hard sales pitch for being an air conditioner repairman. This guy was like, it takes you everywhere. I guess. So he's out on his surfboard because he loves surfing, and something hits him. So now that we've set up all the tragedy that's about to befall these two men, Shalia fell asleep. Luckily for them, I woke up early and finished the episode. So these are like tragic, terrible things that have happened to these people, but they survived. The one guy lost his whole leg, the other guy lost his whole butt. They really though, he lost like his whole butt. But they survived, they made it through, that's great. Mostly these are like an interview with somebody and then like recreation shots paired up. That's pretty much what this is. Did you know that a very long time ago, I was in a recreation show for Monsters Inside Me, the show about parasites that like eat your body? I was in one of the recreations. I didn't have one of the parasites in it. I was playing the blonde like girlfriend whose name was like Shayla, which is insane. But I was like the girlfriend of someone who got a horrifying parasite. So I was mostly there to go, ooh. Anyway, it was non-union. I got a sandwich out of it. You know, you do what you can. Job's a job, am I right? I wish I remembered what episode it is. But yeah, I'm in a, you probably can't even recognize me. I was also in some of the other ones just as like a random nurse because they like filmed them all at once. So I was in this like sad, like a little kid died and I had to be the nurse like taking off the bedding from where the child had died. Like they made the kid disappear while I'm like folding up their death shroud. 4 shows in one night. Can you even believe it? That is night 6 of Shark Week. And this is episode 6 of Shark WeCap, my Shark Week recap show. I will see you tomorrow when we must bid each other adieu for a whole year. So technically, Sunday night has Shark Week too, but it's just the Naked and Afraid show. It doesn't really have anything to do with sharks, so I don't usually cover it. So tomorrow's the last show. All right, babies, I see you soon.